She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, and America too. She's a good girl, crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and a boy.
G'day guys, my name's Dave Tran and welcome to another Throwback Thursday edition of a Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. And in today's lesson, I'll be teaching you how to play John Mayer's rendition of Free Falling by Tom Petty. Firstly, I just want to say rest in peace to Tom Petty. It's another amazing musician that we've lost in 2017. Now for the basics of this song, you'll need your guitar in standard tuning and you'll need a capo on the 3rd fret of your guitar. Now if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Now I'm going to teach you how to play John Mayer's version of this song, but in doing so, I'm basically teaching you how to play Tom Petty's version as well, because they're both in the same key. I'm firstly going to teach you the chord structure here, and this is really important because once you learn this, learning the finger picking parts will be so much easier. For our chord structure, we have 5 chords. We have a D/F sharp. Now D/F sharp is the same as a D chord, except you're going to take your thumb, reach over, and push down on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. And that's D/F sharp. Of course, if that's too hard to play, then you can just play the D. Our second chord is a G chord, and then our 3rd chord is another G chord. 4th chord goes back to a D/F sharp, and our 5th chord is just an A chord. In terms of timing, we have this on the 1 beat, and then the G is on the end beat after the 2. Then in the second bar, we play the G again on the 1 beat, the D/F sharp on the end beat after the 1, and then the A is played on the end beat after the 2. So it'll sound like this if you just want to strum each chord once. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now let's add a strumming pattern to this. And for our first bar, we have a strumming pattern that goes like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And you're going to change chords on that 3rd down strum, which is highlighted in the annotation here. So the first bar will just sound like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And then the second bar has a slightly different strumming pattern that sounds like this. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And you'll see up here in the annotations where you need to change chords. But basically the first down strum's a G, the second down strum is the D/F sharp, and then the 4th down strum's where you go to the A chord. So it'll sound like this. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And all together. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. That strumming pattern is all you need to play for Tom Petty's version, but it's also included in John Mayer's version as well. Alright, so now that you understand the chord structure, let's move into the finger picking for John Mayer's version. Alright, so let's start with the intro, and we have 3 lines of tab here. So starting with our D/F sharp. Now here's a tip, if you can't actually play the D/F sharp with your thumb, you can play this D/F sharp with your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd. However, using your thumb is much easier in my opinion, and it's actually how John Mayer plays it too. For the fingerpicking basics, your thumb will take care of the 6th, 5th and 4th strings, and your index finger, middle and ring will take care of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings respectively, and they won't pick any other strings other than the ones they're assigned to. We're going to start off by plucking the 4th and 2nd strings together. Then we're going to pluck the 4th string, 3rd string, and then the 6th string individually. And those 3 notes are played fairly quickly one after the other, so it will sound like this. And then after that we're going to go to a G chord shape. However, you want to keep your index finger here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string and let that note ring out from your previous plucks. And just have your middle finger reach over and play the 3rd fret of the 6th string. So that first bar will sound like this. For this next bar, you can lift this index finger now and just play your regular G chord. We're plucking the 6th string, the 3rd and the 2nd at the same time. All together for this G chord. Then we go to our D/F sharp chord. We're plucking the exact same string, so 6th, 3rd and 2nd strings. And then we're going to go to an A chord. Now it's best to play this A chord by just barring your index finger across the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings. And that first string can just be muted. So that's our A chord, and we're plucking the 5th, 3rd and 2nd strings together. Like that. And the timing is 1 and 2 and. So that A is on the end beat after the 2. With this A still held down, what we're going to do now is pluck the 3rd string, 4th string, and then we're going to pluck the 2nd string. What we're going to do is pluck it, hammer on to the 3rd fret with our ring finger, and pull off. So you're just going to pluck it once, but you're going to hammer on, pull off. And then the last note you hit is just the 3rd string on this A chord shape. Of course, you can just play a regular A chord shape like this if you want, if you can't quite bar your index finger like this. And altogether, that lick by itself. And one more time. And our first line in total will sound like this. For our second line with our first D/F sharp, you actually want to have your index finger barring across the 2nd fret of the 3rd and 2nd string, because you're going to need to pull off to it in a sec. We're going to play the 6th string, 4th string, and then when we pluck the 2nd string, you're going to pull off onto the 2nd fret where your index finger is. And then we go to the 3rd string, and then we transition to our G chord. But for this G chord, all you need to really do is put your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string and pluck the 6th string and the 2nd string at the same time. And all of that together. One more time. Now for the second bar of this second line, it's almost identical to the second bar of the first line, except for our first G chord, instead of having our ring finger here on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, you're going to have that lifted. So when we pluck this, it's going to be the 6th, 3rd and 2nd strings, but the 3rd and 2nd strings will just be open, like that. And then the rest of it's the same, so D/F sharp, A, and that same lick. So 3rd string, 4th string, hammer on, pull off, and then back to 3rd string. And the second line in total will sound like this. Now that second line just gets played through twice, and then we get to our third line of tab. Our third line of tab is almost identical to our second line of tab, except for the end section. Instead of playing our lick for this A chord, what we're going to do is just drop our hand onto the strings and make that slap sound on the 4 beat, and then we're going to pluck the 2nd string and then the 5th string after it. So all of that will happen fairly quickly, one after the other. So slap, 2nd, bass, like that. And the third line all together. And all together the intro will sound like this. Now for the rest of the song, I'm going to teach you a finger picking section that you can basically repeat again and again and again. Now when John Mayer plays it live in the Where the Light Is DVD, there's 3 guitarists playing at the same time. There's so much going on, there's so many improv licks, so I can't cover them all. So by just learning this fingerpicking pattern, you can just play it again and again and again and it'll work. Let's start off with an easier verse and then we can add extra notes to this later. For this easy method, starting with a D/F sharp, we're going to pluck the 6th, 3rd and 2nd strings together. We're going to slap on the 2 beat and then we're going to go to our G chord on the end beat after the 2 and we're going to pluck the exact same strings, 6th, 3rd and 2nd. Now for this G chord, it's a very lazy G chord. We're just putting our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string and then we slap again on the 4 beat. So the first bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now it's really important that when you do slap, you slap right back into the position where your fingers are ready to pluck their strings again. So when I slap, my index and my middle finger instantly slot into the positions that they're supposed to be in. I don't slap to a point where I need to move my fingers to pluck the required strings. I slap and my fingers are right there ready to go. So for the second bar, we have our G again, 6th, 3rd and 2nd strings. And then we go to our D/F sharp, same strings again, 6th, 3rd and 2nd. And then we're going to slap on the 2 and then go to our A chord and pluck the 5th, 3rd and 2nd strings. And then slap on the 4 beat again. So in total, the easy method for the verses will just sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's the easiest finger picking pattern you can play throughout the verses and the choruses if you want. Now if we want to add a little complexity, we can do that. So for the first bar, after our slap on the 4 beat, we can play the 2nd string, 6th string, and then 3rd string. That all happens fairly quickly, and we're still on this lazy G chord. So slap 2nd, 6th, 3rd. Like that. And you can just practice that over and over again if you want to get it into your head, so just loop it. And that first bar. And the other extra little picking that we can add happens on this A chord. So after we've slapped on the 4 beat, we just pluck the 2nd string and then the 5th string. So slap, 2nd, 5th. And it all happens fairly quickly. And again, you can just repeat that over and over to practice. And in total, the more difficult picking pattern can sound like this. And then as the song progresses and progresses, we can start throwing in our strumming pattern that we learnt. Down, up, down, 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 down. So to recap, this song is really simple at its core. That chord progression is played throughout the whole song and you don't change chord progressions at all. But there's a whole bunch of variations that you can mix and match to make this more interesting. So now I'm going to be playing through the whole song. I'm going to use a combination of the parts I've showed you, and I'm going to have a vocal track on top for some context. So feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice play along to and see how you go.
She's a good girl, loves her mama. sky. I wanna free fall. I'm to nothing. Oh, I'm gonna leave this. There's no
Thanks guys, hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. If you've enjoyed this, hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave your thoughts, comments, questions and requests below, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.